Way back in 1940, high up in the skies over Britain, one of the most legendary rivalries in the history of flight was born. On one side, the elegant supermarine Spitfire. On the other, the ruthless Messerschmitt Bf-109. This is the story of that duel, a real clash of tech, tactics, and, well, national pride. So which one was actually better? It's a question pilots, engineers, and history buffs have been arguing about for, over 80 years now? And it seems like a simple question, but the answer, it's anything but. To really get it, we've got to look past the legends and get into the guts of these incredible machines. And this right here is the key to the whole thing. This wasn't just about which plane was faster or had bigger guns. Nope. This was a clash between two totally different ways of thinking about engineering. One plane was built for pure grace and agility, the other for brutal, deadly efficiency. Okay, so first up, let's meet the defender of Britain, the supermarine Spitfire. I mean, just look at it. Even when it's just sitting on the ground, it looks fast, right? It was, in so many ways, a true piece of aerodynamic art. The whole idea behind the Spitfire, the entire philosophy, was to build the most perfect flying machine they possibly could. The main goal? To outturn and outmaneuver literally any opponent in the sky. Everything else, ease of manufacturing, you name it, was a distant second to achieving that pure, unadulterated performance. Now, what's so cool here are those wings. That iconic elliptical shape, it wasn't just for looks. That design gave it incredible lift and cut down on drag, which made the Spitfire the absolute king of a turning dogfight. It was armed with 8 machine guns. Think of it like a shotgun blast, creating a dense wall of lead. And it was all powered by that legendary Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which had one tiny but critical vulnerability we're going to get to in just a minute. And now for its rival, the Messerschmitt Bf-109. If the Spitfire was a fencer's rapier, all elegant and precise, the 109 was a warhammer. It wasn't designed to be beautiful, it was designed to be a weapon, plain and simple. Yeah, the guy behind it, Willy Messerschmitt, his approach was all about pragmatism. The plane had to be easy to build, easy to fix on the fly, and just unbelievably deadly at its main job, climbing like a rocket to get above bombers, and then blasting them out of the sky with overwhelming force. And this slide just perfectly shows that philosophy in action. Look at the wings, simple, angular, easy to mass produce and fix. But that engine, that was a masterpiece. The Daimler-Benz DB601 had fuel injection, which was a total game changer, and we'll see why in a sec. And the armament? It packed a serious punch. 2 cannons that could tear a plane apart with just a couple of good hits. So you've got these two completely different design philosophies. What happens when they finally meet in the sky? Well, this is where all those little technical details suddenly become matters of life and death. This right here was maybe the Spitfire's single greatest weakness. So imagine you're a Spitfire pilot, and you push the stick forward to go into a steep dive. The carburetor would flood, and that beautiful Merlin engine would just cough and quit on you for a terrifying second or two. A Messerschmitt pilot? Thanks to his fuel-injected engine, he could just slam the nose down and dive away, leaving the sputtering Spitfire in his dust. Their firepower was also a total study in contrasts. The Spitfire's 8 machine guns, like we said, were like a shotgun. You just fill the air with lead. You've got a better chance of hitting something, but you needed a lot of hits to actually take a plane down. The Messerschmitt's cannons, though, they were like a sniper rifle. Fewer shots, for sure, but a single one of those explosive shells could cripple an opponent instantly. Game over. So it all boils down to this huge tactical trade-off. If you were in a Spitfire, your whole game plan was to drag the 1009 into a turning fight, a horizontal battle, where your amazing aerodynamics gave you the edge. But if you were in a Messerschmitt, you wanted to use your better climb and dive speed to make these fast, slashing attacks from above. The pilot who could force the fight to happen on his terms, well, he was the one who was going to fly home. And victory could come down to the tiniest details. Take the stabilizer, for instance, that little wing at the back. The exact design of that surface and how it worked with the main wing was absolutely critical. On the Spitfire, its shape, working with those elliptical wings, helped give it that incredible turning ability. For the Messerschmitt, its stabilizer was optimized for keeping the plane steady during those high-speed dives it was so good at. A tiny difference in aerodynamics could decide everything at the crucial moment. All right, so we've looked at the engines, the guns, the flight performance. After all that, can we finally actually declare a winner? Let's bring it all together and see what the final verdict is. This tale of the tape really says it all, doesn't it? Top speed? They were basically neck and neck. A draw. In a turn, advantage Spitfire, no question. In a dive, that goes to the Messerschmitt, thanks to that engine. Firepower? That's debatable. Depends on what you prefer, volume or punch. And up high where the bombers flew, the Messerschmitt was definitely the better machine. So what's the real answer? Well, the truth is, there was no single better plane. They were just so incredibly closely matched that victory was usually decided by other things. Who saw who first? Was the fight happening at 10,000 feet or 20,000 feet? And, maybe most importantly of all, who was the better pilot in the cockpit? And that kind of leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? In a duel this balanced, where the technology on both sides was pushed to the absolute edge, does the final advantage really go to the machine? Or does it belong to the human being with his hands on the controls? That's something to think about.